thank you for visiting with me today. I have the privilege to be here with Brother Anu. Thank you for coming, Brother Anu. Brother Anu is the leader and teacher of the Nubian faith, and I feel privileged to have you sit with me this afternoon and to answer some of the concerns that are on my mind. What I did, Brother Anu, was I prepared an outline because I really want to focus on the responses based on my concern. Is that all right? Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 62 years old. I'm a daughter, a mother, a sister, a grand, and most recently, a great-grandmother. And what concerns me most is Black America. Where are we going from here? We have what I consider to be a dual consciousness. We as Black Americans, we know the system that has been played out against us, and for some reason, we're comfortable with that. And the only question we have on our mind is, why won't they be fair to us? Now, in my mind, Brother Anu, this is crazy. Why would I expect someone who's kept me into slavery for 400 years to tell me about my history and who my ancestors were? Would you agree to that?
I do.
Now, Brother Anu, another thing that concerns me is mainstream religions. I was an Adventist at one time and recently a Baptist, and what I find is these religions have had a direct impact on what I consider to be the duplicity of the African American's thought process. Brother Anu, do you believe that the mind is the frontier for building a nation?
I do. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invite and to say that I'm very grateful to be here.
Okay.
As Sister Denise said, I am Brother Anu, the spiritual leader and teacher of the Nubian faith. And I do agree with what you're saying about the frontier. Our faith is actually called Auwsaa. And Auwsaa is the religion for the Nubian people.
I see.
It means the oasis in the sky. And first of all, let me say the Nubians, they spoke on various levels. So when I say oasis in the sky, it always has more meaning to whatever they're saying. The oasis is a fertile place, and the sky is the mind. You know, our people are very into the sky and the heavens and all these things that they've been told. But when the Nubians spoke about the heavens and the skies, they were talking about the mind, because that is where heaven is going to come from if you ever realize it. And I know that's something that people are uncomfortable with, especially if you are a person of religious faith here in America. But the Nubians were speaking about the mind. So your question was about the frontier. Yes, the frontier is where we have to go. The mind is where we're going.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Brother Anu, for giving us enlightenment on that. Now, I have a series of questions I'd like to share with you that's on another level. First of all, Brother Anu, I want to ask, do you consider yourself to be a Black American?
No. The reason why I would not call myself a Black American is because the word black I have issues with.
I see.
Okay? Not that I am not a man of color. That's obvious if anybody is watching. But the word black has its drawbacks. saying the word black is I have a problem with the word as far as being something that you call yourself. Okay, and I'll explain. Let's use an example of you yourself going to buy a car in a car lot. Right?
Okay.
Okay, now when you go to that car, the number one factor should it be the color of the car? That's the question.
Ah.
Now, let's say someone goes to a car lot and they tell the dealer, they say, I want a car. And the dealer says, sure, here's all the cars on the lot. And the person says, well, I want that car. And the dealer tells them, well, no, that car doesn't even have an engine in it. But the person wants this black car. They say, well, I want that car because that car, I like the color of the car. See, the color of the car is not the most important part of the car. The engine would trump that, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay, so we are a people who are putting something that's not the most important thing in the front. We're naming ourselves after something that's not the most important thing. Not that we don't like our skin colors. We got a lot of different skin colors. All different shades and colors in our people. But that's not the most important part of us. So black consciousness, we have to be careful with that. The whole word black, we have to be careful with that. That's the Europeans' way of describing us.
Wow.
See, the Europeans, they named everything based on our color. The word Egypt, for example, came from them. They called the land Egypt and the people Egyptians because in their language, we're talking the Greeks now.
Yes.
In their language, Egypt means burnt faces. See, we gotta remember who's talking. Whenever we're going along with these things, who is the one talking? Also, even Ethiopia, most people don't know, that's also a Greek word, and that word was something that means black and mysterious. It goes into their myths. You know, if you want to go study their myths, you will find that the Greek myths always had this Ethiopian land, this mysterious place where everybody was afraid to go. So these are their words, but all of them mean something about a color. See, because they see us as something that's a color. But the Nubians were a little different. We'll get to that later. You know, as far as there's nothing about their name that has anything to do with color. Lastly, we have our Kemetic people. You didn't ask about them, but they're big today.
Yes, they are.
But that means, all that means is to be burnt black. That's where the word chemistry comes from, Kemet. And it means to be burnt black. So everything that we look at, and we're looking at names, the Europeans are the ones that's calling us these names. Even Negro. I mean, what's the difference? When we went to black from Negro, we didn't change anything. Negro in the Portuguese and Spanish language just means black. So we went to black like we were doing something.
Right.
Like we really was moving on. We're gonna call ourselves Negro no more. We're gonna call ourselves black. So my point is, we're falling into all these traps of being just called something of a color. Okay?
Well, thank you, Brother Anu. All right, just so I have it correct, we're not Cushites. Calling ourselves black nationalists is not a good thing. Well, what about calling ourselves Christians? A lot of us are Christians, you know.
That's another good question. Okay. You are correct. Christianity is probably one of the most influential religions to our people.
Yes.
We have to remember the history now. Christianity, not just Christianity, but Islam as well, was used to enslave us. Now this is not something that I'm just saying. The Europeans wrote about it. They even wrote about how they used this religion, Christianity and Islam, to enslave black people. And a lot of it has to do with what we talked about earlier about the Cushites.
Yes.
A lot of it has to do with their understanding of the Bible, you see. So we're going to have some sessions that's going to come up. We're going to go deeper into what that all meant. But this curse of Ham, we'll go back to that.
Yes.
Because years ago I did a show, and when I did the show, I had a call-in period, and I asked all the ministers and reverends and the Pope, I don't care, all of them. I said, call us and explain to us what happened to this curse of Ham.
Gotcha.
So when you mention Christianity as a name for us, it's got so much baggage. Because the history of slavery and all that. But I understand our people, you know, and just like anything else and stuff, it's hard to remove yourself from something that you've been with so long. I'll give you an example and then I'm going to let you ask the next question. But
Yes.
my example would be the way they do elephants in the circus. Now, the baby elephant, you take the baby elephant and you make the cement post. You cement a stake in the ground.
Yes.
And then you chain the elephant's leg, right? The baby,
Yes.
the baby elephant. And so you'll see that baby elephant fighting, right?
Yeah.
And he just fighting, trying to get loose. And eventually, see, the training process is that eventually he gives up. See, there's no point.
Wow.
So that's why you can go to the circus and you can see these huge elephants that weigh tons. But yet, and they have this stake in the ground, but it's no cement. It's just, they can easily pull themselves up out of there.
Yes.
But in their mind, they're conditioned that they can't do it. Any kind of resistance, they just stop. So when I say the religious is going to be hard now, because our people are so conditioned, and it's been going on since they were in slavery. They've been conditioned in Christianity, Islam, and all those religions. So it ain't going to be easy for them to come up out of that. I'm telling you, that's going to be very difficult. Okay?
Okay, well, thank you, Brother Anu. Well, since we know not the Cushites, not the black nationalists, and certainly we got to re-examine this Christianity thing. Why don't you just tell
Well,
us?
I got one more point, sister.
Okay.
This is a good one, I think, because you were talking earlier about the duplicity of our mind.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Okay, now I can give you an example of that. You have what is known as a man by the name of Bishop Tutu. You familiar with Bishop?
Yes.
Okay, now he is from South Africa, and he is a bishop. Now, I mean, he's a big part of the church.
Yes.
Okay. One of his statements, and we're tying slavery and we're tying Christianity together here.
Okay.
He said that the white man came to our lands and told us to look up into the sky. And as we were looking up in the sky, he stole everything from beneath our feet. This is a quote from Bishop Tutu. And this is a man of the cloth.
Yes.
And he's leading his people. But the duplicity that you was talking about is about where is he coming from? When he says that these people, the Europeans, came and made us look up into the sky. Well, isn't Christianity about still looking up into the sky? He is a bishop. I mean, so he's still looking, in other words, he's looking outside of himself for this guidance, you see.
Yes.
So did he mean no longer look in the sky? Or did he mean keep looking in the sky? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm saying the duplicity is in his mind. What does he mean? Is he against the sky looking, or is he for the sky looking? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense if he's a bishop. Am I right?
You are correct. And I really thank you for pointing that out to us. So, what I think, Brother Anu, is you need to tell us more about the Nubians, our ancestors.
The Nubians, which is what we are saying, is the name. This is the name that we believe our people should take on. Why? Because one reason is because the Nubians are our most ancient ancestry. And the reason why I can say that with a great deal of confidence is because in 1964 and 63 and 64, there was this huge excavation done in the lands called Nubia. Okay, this was before the Auwsaa Dam was built. A man by the name of Keith Steele, who actually led this excavation. It's a very famous, it's the largest excavation in the whole world, you know. But anyway, UNESCO and their plan was to move all these monuments before the dam was built. Now, it's important to note that they found that these people had been here long before any civilization. They also discovered, and they wrote in their conclusion, that the Nubian civilization was the oldest civilization in history. And they had a monarchy, and the reason why they were able to say that and know is because the monarchy and stuff had what you see in Egyptian temples and so forth and so on, that white large headpiece that they had. All of that the Nubians had. They had all the writings, the Metu Neter.
Yes.
The Metu Neter. And I think a key point is that in the language and stuff, the Nubian's name is made with a cup. The cup represents the word Nub, N-U-B.
Okay.
It means gold. It also means the sun. Now, if you really want to know how deep they were, the name of their god was also in that name.
Wow.
The God is new in you. See, so that one word that's a powerful word. But the most significant part, I think, is that, as I said earlier now, the Nubians are always talking on various levels.
Yes.
So when they said they were the people of the sun, and this is also Keith Steele and all of those that found all of this information when they went there, meant also something deeper than that. It's deeper than the people of the sun. It means truth, people of the truth, because the sun and the truth, you see, they were synonymous. So the spiritual name of the Nubians are people of the truth. Now tell me, isn't that a beautiful name?
Oh yes, that is a beautiful name. Brother Anu, having said all that and having given me all this enlightening information, tell me how the Nubians relate to us as Black Americans today.
Another very good question. Okay, I have been trying to show the difference between the names that we have been going about, using, all these different types of names that mean a color, which is not a really significant part of a person. If you are going to just be a color, you could even look at a dog, and even dogs got a little bit more dignity in their name. Let's take a Doberman. A Doberman might be black, but he's a Doberman. He's saying something. When you say Doberman, people be like, oh, okay. And if you be looking around seeing if you see one, because they have a certain reputation. Okay?
Yes.
Or pit bull or whatever. They got something. Their name has more than just a color. Color is not it's not significant. So the Nubians, as you say, how they relate to us today. This is your question. Okay, we need a name. See, if you're going to become a nation of people and stuff, you want to start off with the first things first. Just like if you were in the hospital and you just had a baby. Here you are, you and your wife, and y'all up there in the hospital, and you got a baby, and you're looking in the window, and you're all proud, and your chest is sticking out. The first thing y'all look at each other and say, well, what are we going to name this child? See, so I believe, being a carpenter myself and a builder, I know that you have to be able to have that foundation straight. The baby has to have a name. So when I say that the word Nubian is the word for us as a people, I have a lot that I can prove about that. And every other name that you have, and every other name that you've used so far, they're insignificant compared to the Nubian name. Now, finally, the name itself and what we represent here is called a revolution. Not a revolution in the sense that some blood is going to be spilled or that there's going to be some violence. But revolution, let's look at the word revolution. It means you start at a certain point and you return to that point. It's a complete cycle. So that's a real revolution. If we start off with our ancient ancestral knowledge from the Nubians, from that point, and of course we decline, and we're not right now, we don't have that. So we're coming back around to that. And why do I say that? I'm saying because if we were once great and we built the pyramids and all the monuments over there, what you call Egypt today, and we were wise people, and people came to us to learn. Even the Greeks wrote about it. They said that's where they got their knowledge. The truthful ones, anyway. I mean, Herodotus was truthful. He said that's where they got the knowledge. He called Pythagoras a liar and a plagiarist because he brought to the world this knowledge that he did not have. The Nubians had this knowledge. So I'm saying in our revolution, which is mental, as you said earlier, it's about the mind. We want to go back to our ancestral knowledge so we can become great and the leaders and teachers of the world.
So what I hear you saying, Brother Anu, is that we need a revolution and we need a returning point, not a starting point.
Exactly.
Well, I thank you for giving me all this information today. And before we leave, would you like to invite us to your upcoming sessions in 2014?
Yes, we will be having sessions on our website, and it'll be posted, and we should have more information. We're going to keep the information coming. And I would like to say to you, Sister Denise, thank you for this hospitality. And you have the best questions that I have ever received.
Well, thinking of questions, I would like to invite everyone to our blog page, because there you can write Brother Anu some questions as well. Thank you.